Hey guys, it's been a few months since we introduced you to the Druid in Path of Exile 2. But one of the things that we're really focusing on now
That's gonna be
is how
my
varied
thing,
each
dude,
of the classes
Druids.
feels to play.
I love my druids.
The monk darts around quickly from enemy to enemy, building and unleashing combos. If he doesn't stay in combat, he loses momentum and has to build it up again.
When should the POE2 beta hit? Like in summer next year, roundabout?
The warrior, on the other hand, is like a slow but unstoppable freight train. A warrior commits to big attacks and relies on stunning his enemies to stay safe in the thick of combat. When
June?
an opening presents itself, a warrior can use even larger attacks to demolish his enemies.
The thing is, like, don't get me wrong, right? I'm super hyped about POE2 with all the shit that we can do, right?
The Huntress seamlessly moves from melee to ranged combat and back.
But as of right now, it's just like,
The Huntress is only unlocked when
you know, it's like, it's the same with like pre-hyping a league. When people like 1 month before the league start, they're like, yo, are you hyped for next league? What do you know what you play? And I'm like, no, I don't even seen what we're gonna play. I don't know the patch notes, like...
The Sorceress is a
I
pure
don't know.
caster who much prefers to stay at range and drop powerful spells on her foes. If she finds herself surrounded by enemies, she would rather use an ability to escape than to take them on directly.
It's the same with POE2. Super hyped about it, but as long as we cannot play it, or it's not like on the
Druid is also a
horizon,
spellcaster, but unlike the Sorceress, he uses his spells as
it's
a
just
means
something I
support
want to
his
play, but I
melee
cannot
abilities.
play.
And by melee abilities, we mean he can turn into a giant animal and rip his enemies to pieces.
But I know already that I'm gonna play Druid on League Start on POE2. And there's nothing that will change my mind. I play Druid in every game there is a
Each of
Druid.
these
Diablo
classes feels
4, World
extremely
of
different to play,
Warcraft.
but we want to go even further.
I love
It's time to
shape-shifting
check out
skills
the
and stuff,
Mercenary.
you know, it's...
There's not a job out there I won't take, so long as the pay's good and a crossbow can solve it.
I like this weird back walking, it's weird. Probably does it automatically.
I'll take 'em all
Freaking
down,
gunslinger, man.
one at a time.
When thinking about each new class, we really try to think about how we can make combat feel different from all the others. For the Mercenary, that difference is the crossbow. A crossbow is fundamentally different than a regular bow because it fires instantly instead of needing to be drawn back. This means that you need immediate feedback. Clicking the fire button should make the character shoot instantly, just like in a shooter. As soon as we experience that, we realize that there are a lot of design lessons to learn from shooters, and so we fully embraced them. In Path of Exile 2, we have crossbows that work like sniper rifles, shotguns, and assault rifles. But in order to really get shooter-like gameplay, we wanted to go further. In Path of Exile 2, we now support WASD movement. You can now walk around in any direction independent
That's
of
how
aim.
he moves
In fact, if this
backwards.
is your preferred method of gameplay, you can use it on any class, regardless of what weapon type you're using. You can change between click to move or WASD at any time.
It's gonna be interesting. WASD on an
You can only
ARPG.
hold 2 crossbows at a time, but Path of Exile 2 is all about interesting combinations of abilities, and this is where ammo skills come in. This is a burst shot crossbow, and right now I have armor-piercing ammo equipped, which makes it very effective when facing a group of enemies, since it pierces right through them.
The next point would be
But there are other ammos too. For a bigger single
if you
target,
use
it might be a good idea
WASD,
to
that you
switch
can
to
then like
incendiary.
use your mouse to like
The
swap
more
the camera
projectiles hit the
position.
target, the stronger the ignite.
It's getting
So we
like
want to
an
get up nice,
POE
close and
MMO,
personal with
dude.
this one.
That would be crazy.
If you have a bunch of targets running at you, you might want to slow them down. In this case, you could switch to permafrost burst shot. Shooting a bunch of smaller enemies at range will chill them, and potentially even freeze them in place.
I mean, just like what most people or
Once you
many
have some frozen
people
enemies, though, you can switch back to armor piercing.
are like complaining about the
Frozen enemy with
POE2 that it's
armor-piercing
gonna be
burst
so
shot
much
will
slower than
explode the ice,
POE1.
doing
It's a
huge amount
different
of damage
game,
to all
and
nearby enemies.
but honestly, have you ever like watched any of the teasers or trailers of new leagues? You know, they show the league mechanic when they are
Another
like
feature
level
crossbows
30.
have is
Like,
attachments. This is a grenade launcher. As you can see, when I equip it, it appears on the underside of the crossbow. These attachments are just like skill gems, so you effectively get extra skill slots, and you can augment these with support gems, just like regular skills.
just thinking like, as long as I haven't seen POE2 end game mapping, bossing, you cannot
These
judge like
grenades take a while
campaign
explode,
to the
so
real
it's a good idea
game.
to pair them with some kind of crowd control, like permafrost burst shot.
Think about if you play League Start and you start the campaign on how the game pace looks like compared to when you're running like Juice Tier 16 maps and you're actually grinding, you know? In terms of like movement speed, clear speed,
We have other grenades
chain
too, though.
reactions
This
and stuff.
attachment is a flash grenade. It does barely any damage, but it does a huge amount of stun. It can be a great opener before you run into combat.
Surprise!
Now, here's another attachment, an oil grenade. Firing one of these grenades coats the ground and nearby enemies in oil. Oil slows enemies down, so it's another useful crowd control mechanic.
I mean, see it in the opposite way. If GGG would actually showcase endgame characters with endgame speed and clear speed, they show a league mechanic, you
Now,
one-shot
another
the
thing that
entire
oil
screen
can do
and
is
people
be
are
set on
like,
fire. Any burning enemy or explosion will ignite the
is
oil.
it just a loot
causing extra
fiesta or
burning
what's gonna
damage.
be, you know? I wouldn't be too worried about the game pace at all, like...
One of the problems with burst shot crossbows is that each pellet doesn't do much damage individually. This means that if enemies have armor, then it will be very effective preventing that damage. But thankfully, you can equip an additional crossbow in your second weapon set to deal with the weaknesses of your primary weapon. This is a rapid shot crossbow. Rapid shot is great for closing on enemies because you can shoot while running. In Path of Exile 2, we now have the ability to allow you to use some skills while moving. Being able to create skills like this opens up a lot of new design space.
True.
It allows us to really increase the
Next
pace
is
of
the
combat.
banana shot, where enemies walk over and slip into the wall and get stunned for 4 seconds.
The armor-piercing version of Rapid Shot slowly erodes a monster's armor. Once the armor is fully broken, you can easily switch back to Burst Shot to deal much more damage.
Surely gonna be banana shot, man. 100%. I mean, we have Cat Soul Rend, so why shouldn't there be a banana shot? Like, honestly.
Being able to run while shooting with Rapid Shot is also great for when you want to perform a fighting retreat.
Reload!
With those skills, it looks more like a shooter game than an actual, like, ARPG.
Using permafrost ammo with Rapid Shot is also useful if you need to retreat. When you shoot the ground, it creates ice crystals. If you draw monsters back over these crystals, they explode, chilling the monsters. It's great if you want to set up a safe zone before pulling the next pack. Slowing enemies down can come in handy if you want to use the incendiary version of Rapid Shot. Using this skill requires that you charge up a little bit before it fires, but as it continues to heat up, it will do more and more damage.
I mean, you know, as a World of Warcraft player,
It has a
I don't really
large
mind
buff size, so
having
you can just keep
50
firing and
hotkeys.
firing with it.
So,
But the other really useful feature is that when the crossbow is heated up, it adds extra fire damage to any grenade that you launch.
using the WASD as moving and then, like, 7 skills, and then you weapon swap, you have another 7. Then you swap to grenade launcher, you have another 7. Oh, this guy is coming close to, like, MMO,
Now, I've been
actually.
using explosive grenades here, but it will work equally as well with flash or oil grenades too. If you use it with oil grenades, the oil will catch fire immediately.
I mean, I don't know, like, it's probably gonna be, like, some, specialization thing, because why would you ever consider using 20 different skills to clear stuff? You slow them down, you, like, put oil on the floor, you set it ablaze. Then you charge back, you retreat, you rapid fire, and then you put down your ice trap again, or ice floor
Another
arrows
crossbow type that you can find is Power Shot.
into banana
This one works
charges.
just like a classic sniper rifle. Use it with armor-piercing ammo and it will penetrate armor on targets. So it's a good idea to use when something's really tough.
Back down or die!
Now this skill has another interesting interaction with armor break. If an enemy has its armor broken, then your Power Shot hits a weak spot and does a huge amount of single target damage, with a bunch of extra stun for good measure.
Bullseye!
And then we have POE logs.com.
Now,
Where
the
people can upload their
incendiary
log,
version of Power
their
Shot is more
logs
like a
for
rocket
fighting
launcher.
bosses.
It does a big explosive blast at a distance.
They can compare yourself to others.
One of the really useful features of this version is that you can explode any grenades that happen to be on the ground.
I mean, effect-wise, it's insane. Like, graphic-wise, all the sparkles and everything.
This combo also works really well with Incendiary Rapid Shot. I'm going to charge up the heat on my crossbow, shoot out a bunch of grenades, and then start the fireworks with a power shot. The ice version of Power Shot creates frost walls at a distance. This is great for crowd controlling monsters in tight passages. The wall segments have other uses too. If they get destroyed by monsters, then they will explode, doing a small amount of damage.
Okay, that's all nice and everything, but what if I get my armor penetrating grenade blast shot with GMP and chain and fork, and I just use that ability and don't care about CC?
Now, remember that burst shot combo with frozen enemies we did earlier? That works
DPS,
with ice walls too. Let's put burst shot back on. Now I can fill up this area with ice walls, then shoot them with armor-piercing burst shot for a huge amount of damage.
Let's hope they make it realistic, so if you put those walls down, that you cannot attack the targets behind it either, because that would be unfair, right?
It's time to face the boss for this area. Let's see how we fare against her with all the skills I've shown you so far.
Yeah, it would be nice to know how many skills he's using now. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Credits received. Thank you for
5.
military support.
Wait, he's still missing the ice walls and the freezing ground, and I think that was the oil burning, so it's like 6. Ah, there's the 7. I don't know if he used the normal rapid fire. There is it 8. I'm not sure if I had the armor piercing thing. Would be like 9. Normal shot, armor pierce. We're missing the freezing trap thingy. You know where he puts like the small crystals on the floor. He's sure gonna use that for measurement, right? Don't dodge roll. Put down your freezing ice cycles, man. This one we had already? It reminds me of a horror movie, though. The fuck am I going to use 9 different abilities to defeat a boss? Hell no, dude.
And that's the Mercenary. It feels totally
Dr.
different.
Firebrand, thanks for the dono, man. Appreciate it.
Shows you the range of what's possible.
Really appreciate it.
after
Thank you.
Exile 2.
The hell am I going to use like 9 or 10 abilities to defeat a boss? You guys know me, right? 1 clearing ability, 1 single target ability. Even better, 1 single target and clear ability. And 1 movement.
We're going to be showing
That's
off a
it.
lot more about Path of Exile 2 as we approach its beta.